Be prepared. Something is shifting beneath the surface. And if you're not tuned in now, by the time you finally notice, it'll already be too late. There's a strange tension in the air right now. You can feel it in your chest, in the way people suddenly go silent, in the way your body tenses when you're near certain people. This isn't just anxiety. This isn't your imagination. This is the calm before something breaks, and most won't realize it until the damage is done. What's coming isn't loud. It won't arrive with lightning and thunder. It'll sneak in quietly, like a betrayal dressed in comfort. And when it hits, the people still sleeping on it will be the ones left holding the weight of everything they didn't question. This is not a time to post blindly. It's not a time to run back to the familiar. This is a cosmic filter cloaked as a soft breeze, and by the time you notice it blew your entire foundation away, you'll be wondering how you let it happen. Some energies don't scream, they whisper. And this one, it's whispering straight to your instincts. If you feel like something is off right now, it is. And if you ignore that feeling, you'll miss the test hidden inside this illusion of stillness. Imagine walking into a room that looks familiar, but something's off. The colors are too perfect. The smiles feel rehearsed. The silence after the laughter sounds hollow. That's what this week is. Everything looks fine until it isn't. The people you thought were solid, the support systems you leaned on, the connections that once felt natural. One by one, they'll start to flicker like a bad signal, because the truth is, some of them were never real. They were roles, contracts, lessons dressed up as love, and the universe is about to expose who's truly aligned and who was just passing time in your life. Venus is shifting into Taurus, and while astrologers will call it beautiful, grounded, sensual, don't let the poetry fool you. This isn't a love letter from the cosmos, it's a final exam. And if you don't recognize it as one, you'll hand your power over to the very energies this alignment came to cleanse. Listen carefully. This shift is going to pull you into your body, into your bones, into the places where your nervous system already knows who drains you, who uplifts you, who confuses your peace just enough to keep you stuck in loyalty to your own exhaustion. You may feel emotional, irritated, heavy. You may feel like you need to make sense of something that doesn't want to be explained. That's because this isn't a moment of answers. It's a moment of sorting. You're not meant to understand everything right now. You're meant to notice. So here's what you do. First, like this video. Help get this warning to the people still asleep. Drop the number 77 in the comments if this energy already feels real to you. And make sure you subscribe, because what's coming next is going to require awareness, not fear, not reaction. Awareness. This isn't just astrology. This is energetic filtration, and only those who are clear, quiet, and unshaken will pass the test. Now let's begin. There's a reason you've been feeling distant from certain people, a reason your body suddenly tightens in rooms you used to feel safe in, a reason the conversations that once gave you life now feel like background noise. This isn't burnout. It's realignment. The universe isn't asking you to fight for your place in circles that no longer feel sacred. It's offering you a chance to leave quietly, intentionally, before the whole foundation crumbles beneath your feet. Venus entering Taurus isn't asking you to fall in love again. It's asking if the people in your life are capable of loving the version of you that no longer bends. Because that version is waking up now, and not everyone can meet it. Chapter 1. Goodbye doesn't always mean loss. Just when you start to feel like things are getting back to normal, people vanish, not dramatically, not with some loud fallout or explosive ending. They just fade. Calls stop, messages slow down, and before you realize what's happening, someone you thought would always be around is already gone. It feels sudden, but it's not. The universe saw something you didn't. and it moved quietly. We've been conditioned to believe every goodbye must be a sign of something broken, something we need to fix, explain, or chase. But not every ending is damage. Some are divine releases. You weren't left, you were freed. Not every silence is abandonment. Sometimes it's protection. Sometimes it's the closing of a spiritual contract you didn't even know was temporary. Think of your life like a garden. Some people are like trees. They root down and stay through every season. But others, they're like wildflowers, beautiful, intense, short-lived. They come fast, they bloom bright, and they disappear just as quickly. Not because they failed, but because their time was done. That person who made you laugh when your world was falling apart. That friend who walked in right when your old support system collapsed. That connection that felt like home, but eventually turned into a ghost. They weren't random. They were placed on your path like a sign, like a spark, but not like a destination. Venus moving into Taurus is stirring this truth deep in your bones, and it's not subtle. Suddenly you feel off around people who used to light you up. Your body feels heavy after conversations that once energized you. You walk away from certain rooms and feel more alone than before you walked in. That's not your mood. That's your alignment shifting. Your soul is trying to tell you this person's chapter in your story might be closing. And it's hard. It's confusing. Why now? What changed? Did I do something wrong? That's the part that hurts the most, not knowing why someone went cold. But the truth is, this isn't about blame. It's about energetic mismatch. Their role in your life has ended, not from betrayal, from completion. Some relationships are like bridges. They get you from one version of yourself to another, but you were never meant to build a house on that bridge. You were meant to cross it, and now that you have, the bridge is disappearing behind you. That's why you can't walk backward. There's nothing there anymore, just memory. This Venus energy isn't asking for loyalty to the past. It's demanding loyalty to yourself, to your new peace, your new truth. And it's choosing who stays in your orbit, not based on how long they've known you, but whether they can meet the version of you that no longer bends. You may feel empty. You may feel like people are pulling away right when you needed them most. But what if that space is the invitation for something better? What if that silence is clearing out the noise so you can finally hear your own soul? Let go of the need to name it. Not every ending comes with a goodbye. Some just unravel. Quietly, completely, perfectly. Because not everyone is forever. Some people are ceremonies. They arrive for a sacred purpose, and once that purpose is fulfilled, they leave. You don't need to chase. You don't need to explain. You just need to release. And in that release, you'll feel something you haven't in a long time. Clarity. The kind that doesn't need closure. The kind that doesn't ask questions. The kind that simply says, this is done, and I'm finally okay with that. Chapter 2. Your body already knows the truth. By now, your body is speaking more clearly than your thoughts ever could. And the truth, it's not subtle anymore. It's screaming in silence. You feel it in your shoulders when they tense up around certain people. You feel it in your stomach when something feels off, but you can't explain why. You lie next to someone and sleep evades you. You leave a conversation and feel like you just ran a marathon, but you were only sitting still. That's not anxiety. That's not moodiness. That's not just being tired. That's your body voting. That's your nervous system doing the job your mind is too polite to do. Because while your brain is still justifying, negotiating, replaying memories, trying to make someone make sense, your body already knows something here is wrong. Venus in Taurus is earth energy, grounded, physical, primal. She doesn't ask for logic. She listens to the language of sensation. This shift is not interested in what people say they are. It cares about how your body feels in their presence. And your body? It's not confused. You might be asking, why do I feel safe with someone I barely know? Or why do I feel off around someone I've known for years? The answer: energy doesn't care about history. It cares about alignment. Someone may have loved an older version of you, one who doubted herself, tolerated chaos, or played small. But now, your nervous system rejects anything that no longer feels true. This isn't overreacting, it's recalibrating. Imagine your body like a compass. When someone aligned enters the room, it points north, calm, clear. But when someone out of sync gets too close, that compass spins. You feel foggy, irritated, even exhausted. It's not personal, it's vibrational. Their energy disrupts your field. Some people are vitamins, they nourish you. Others are toxins, and you don't always realize it until your body starts rejecting what your heart is still trying to hold on to. That headache, that tight chest, that knot in your stomach. It's wisdom. It's the body's way of saying, you don't belong here anymore. Don't wait for your mind to catch up. Your body already knows, and it's not guessing, it's remembering. Chapter 3. You're not crazy, you're calibrating. You're not losing it. You're not cold-hearted. You're not overreacting. You're calibrating. The part of you that used to over-explain, over-apologize, overthink every emotional shift. That version is being dismantled, quietly, naturally. And now, what you're feeling isn't chaos, it's correction. That tightness in your chest when you're around someone who once felt like home. That sudden headache after spending time with someone you used to laugh with for hours. It's not random, it's not mood swings, it's your nervous system recalibrating. Your body is no longer tolerating the energy it used to normalize. Venus in Taurus is not a soft shift. It's not just about beauty or romance. It's about frequency. And right now, your entire system is updating. People who once felt safe now feel heavy. Topics that once interested you feel distant. Their energy used to wrap around you like a blanket. Now it feels like a weight on your chest. That's not rejection. That's your body saying, we've outgrown this. It can feel disorienting. You may wonder, why don't I care about this anymore? Or, why am I not excited to reconnect with them? Because the urgency isn't there. Because the emotional grip has been released. Their name no longer appears in your mind the way it used to. You're not checking their story. You're not rereading the message they never replied to. That's not detachment out of bitterness. It's spiritual closure. Your energy is doing the sorting now. Some disappearances won't come with answers. No closure, no drama, just a slow fade. And that silence, that absence you keep noticing, it isn't abandonment, it's mercy. Mercy that removes what can't come with you. Mercy that knows if it stayed any longer, you'd keep shrinking just to make space for it. And mercy doesn't wait for your permission. It just leaves when your soul has finally had enough. You're not broken. You're becoming precise. What once passed as good enough is now too loud for your nervous system to pretend about. You're not avoiding people. You're protecting your peace. You're not distant. You're deliberate. The filter isn't external. It's cellular. This is what healing looks like when it stops being a mindset and becomes your default setting. Chapter 4. Stop chasing what's already closed. Let's not sugarcoat it. There's someone your mind keeps circling back to, even if your soul already knows they're gone. Maybe they ghosted you without a word. Maybe things slowly faded, and now you're clinging to memories instead of reality. Or maybe they're still around, but only as a shadow of who they used to be. And yet, you're still holding space for them. Not because they're showing up, but because of what could have been. You're not crazy. You're human. Potential is addictive. It makes us believe there's still something left to salvage. But here's the hard truth. Some stories aren't unfinished. They're just over. And the Venus in Taurus energy, it's not here to reopen old chapters. It's here to close the ones you're still rereading in your head while life keeps writing the next page without you. This energy isn't nostalgic. It's not asking you to reach out, explain yourself, or fix what was never fully whole to begin with. It's not a second chance. It's a final cut. And it's sharp. It's decisive. It doesn't ask for your approval. It simply clears the space so something real can take root. Think of your emotional energy like a garden. The longer you keep pouring water into dry, cracked soil that no longer blooms, the more you starve the seeds you haven't planted yet. Some of you are still tending to someone who left years ago, mentally, emotionally, energetically. You're still rehearsing conversations you'll never have, still wondering, what if they come back? But what if they don't? And what if that's not a loss, but liberation? Closure doesn't always wear a clean suit and deliver a goodbye. Sometimes it's a whisper in your chest that says, "This no longer belongs to me." Sometimes it's not a conversation. It's a quiet morning when you wake up and realize you don't need their name in your mouth anymore. That ache you feel to reach out again, to reconnect, to re-explain, that's not love, that's residue. Residue sticks to things that haven't been fully cleared. This Venus shift is the clearing. It's the moment the universe says, stop watering dead things. So if the door is closed, stop knocking. Not because you're heartless, but because you finally love yourself enough not to beg for a love that no longer speaks your language. Chapter 5. Healing Will. Confuse the people who benefited from your pain. To the outside world, you might still look exactly the same. You post the same kind of photos, you smile the same way, you show up in the same places. But there's a shift, and the people around you can feel it even if they can't explain it. They look at you and sense that something's different, not louder, not colder, just unavailable in the ways you used to be easy to reach. What changed? You stopped bending. You stopped over-explaining your boundaries just to make others comfortable. You stopped saying yes just because you didn't want to disappoint them. You stopped leaking your energy to keep peace in places that only fed on your silence. And now that you're healing, they're confused because the version of you they liked the most, the one who gave endlessly, who didn't speak up, who carried the weight so they didn't have to, that version is no longer at the door. Venus in Taurus isn't about surface-level beauty or romantic aesthetics. It's about value. Real, grounded, internal value. It's about the moment you realize that peace isn't something you earn from others. It's something you protect from them if necessary. And here's the twist most people never expect. Healing doesn't always lead to applause. Sometimes it leads to distance. Not because you did something wrong, but because your growth no longer feeds their comfort. You see, some people were never connected to your soul. They were connected to your struggle. They loved you most when you needed saving because it made them feel important. They were drawn to your exhaustion because it made their presence feel like oxygen. But what happens when you breathe just fine on your own? Suddenly, they say you've changed. Suddenly, you're too distant, too cold, too full of yourself. But the truth is, they're meeting a version of you that doesn't need to bleed to feel worthy. And to them, that version feels unfamiliar, almost threatening. Because now, you're not shrinking to fit the room, you're expanding. And that forces them to confront where they've stayed small. Some relationships won't survive your healing, but that's not your loss. That's your mirror. It shows you who only stayed because they could depend on your self-abandonment. You didn't push them away, you just stopped playing the role they liked you in. And once that role ended, so did their connection. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. Chapter 6, the test of almost relationships. This is the test no one talks about. The one that doesn't come dressed as chaos, heartbreak, or betrayal. No big explosion, no obvious red flag. just comfort, just closeness, just almost. It's the test of good enough. The friend who kind of shows up, but only when it's convenient. The relationship that doesn't hurt, but doesn't fully nourish you either. The connection that's familiar, easy to return to, but never quite sees the real you. It doesn't challenge you, it doesn't evolve with you, but it's there. And that makes it tempting, because when you're healing, when your life is shifting, and you're standing in the quiet middle between who you were and who you're becoming, these almosts feel like home. They feel safe, and safety, even when it's a lie, can feel better than silence. But this shift, this Venus in Taurus current, it isn't here to pat you on the back and let you settle for crumbs. It's here to demand your full value. And that demand, it comes wrapped in discomfort. It whispers, "Are you brave enough to wait for the full meal when you're starving and someone offers you a bite?" Most people fail this test not because they're weak, but because they're tired. Tired of feeling alone. Tired of waiting, tired of hoping that someone better, something real will finally arrive. And when something almost right comes along, it's easy to mistake it for alignment. It's easy to say, well, this is close enough. But close enough is still misalignment in disguise. You might be asking yourself, what if this is as good as it gets? Or what if I'm being too picky? But ask yourself this instead. Why do I keep entertaining connections that make me question myself more than they help me feel seen? This isn't about being perfect. It's about being real. Venus in Taurus is the voice that says, if it doesn't ground you, calm you, elevate you, it's not for you. And saying no to the almost opens the gate to what's actually aligned. It's easy to chase what's comfortable when you're in between seasons. But growth happens in the waiting. Power builds in the pause. Saying no to what's almost right is how you say yes to what's finally true. Because the truth is, you're not being tested on whether you can find love. You're being tested on whether you'll stop accepting love that doesn't fully see you. Chapter 7. Love, money, and peace. They're all connected. Now, Venus in Taurus doesn't let you keep things separate anymore. You might think you can keep your love life in one box, your money in another, your peace tucked away somewhere else. But this energy connects them all. It pulls the invisible threads between how you love, how you feel, and how you receive. And when even one of those threads starts to fray, the entire system begins to shake. You can't beg the universe for peace while holding hands with someone who makes your soul feel like it's walking on eggshells. You can't try to manifest abundance while staying loyal to relationships that leave you emotionally bankrupt. Your nervous system is the blueprint. And when it's overloaded, you're not just exhausted, you're blocked. This shift is revealing something most people miss. Your ability to attract is tied directly to your ability to feel safe. Your money and your relationships. Same nervous system, same energy field. The way your body responds in love is the same way it opens or shuts down to receiving in every other area. Think about it. How do you feel around the people closest to you? Can you breathe fully? Can you relax into yourself without performing? Or are you constantly scanning, bracing, managing their moods, managing their chaos? If your body is always in survival mode, your energy is too busy defending itself to receive anything new. That block in your love life, it's showing up in your finances. That emotional pressure you ignore, it's leaking into your creative flow. That one person who keeps you in cycles of doubt, they're draining your ability to feel stable in your own skin, and your life reflects that. Venus in Taurus is telling you that abundance is not a hustle, it's a match. When your relationships feel safe, grounded, and mutual, your reality softens. Opportunities arrive easier. Your energy expands. Your self-worth calibrates everything else around it. This isn't about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about choosing peace over performance, grounded love over emotional roller coasters. It's about asking, does this make my body relax or tense? Because how you feel in someone's presence will quietly dictate how you feel about yourself when they're gone, and how the world responds to that vibration. Love, money, peace. They're not separate goals anymore. They're one ecosystem. And right now, Venus is resetting the entire field. Chapter 8. Some people return, but you won't be the same. Here's the part that most don't see coming. Some people do return, but not every return is a reunion, and not every familiar face brings peace with it. Someone from your past might circle back. They might text, apologize, remind you of the good times. Not because the stars realigned, but because your energy did. They feel the shift. They feel you pulling away in a way they can't quite explain. And for the first time, your absence feels louder than your presence ever did. But here's the twist. They're not coming back to meet who you were, because that version of you, the one who tolerated their mixed signals, who bent to avoid conflict, who loved at the cost of herself, she's gone, silently retired. And now, if they return, they'll meet someone new, someone they've never known, someone whose peace is no longer negotiable. Venus in Taurus isn't about second chances wrapped in romance or nostalgia. She's not interested in repeating old cycles just to feel something familiar. She's about refinement. She clears out what doesn't match your new standard, not to punish it, but to evolve it. That includes the people who once hurt you, the people who drifted, the ones who didn't recognize your value the first time. And when they show up again, you might feel a flicker, a memory, a ghost of who you once were with them, but it won't hold you, because you've changed. You've healed in places they never even knew were wounded. You've found stability in your silence. And that version of you, they won't know how to hold it. Not because they're bad, but because you no longer belong in the frequency they live in. Some people return to reflect your growth, to remind you of the distance between who you were and who you've become. And when you look into their eyes, it won't be about whether they deserve a place in your life. It'll be about whether you even recognize the bond anymore. This isn't about rekindling, it's about revealing. The real question isn't, will they come back? The real question is, who are you now that they did? Because this version of you, it doesn't beg, it doesn't break, it doesn't bend just to keep someone close. This version of you is the lesson, and not everyone is ready to receive it. And now, as this shift unfolds in silence and clarity, remember this: not everything that ends is a loss. Some things are protection in disguise. Venus in Taurus is not here to comfort your past, but to elevate your future. Let what fades, fade. Let who returns meet the new you. If this message spoke to something deep inside you, like this video, subscribe for more cosmic insight and comment the number 77 below to claim alignment, not attachment. Let the world know you're done chasing and finally ready to receive what's truly meant for you.